Hello and welcome to the 10th of 11 sessions of Impulse Drive being played in the Coriolis setting. We've been rolling along. We have our team of characters. I'm going to go into what the setup is, where we're heading to. We're going to the climax. The frame is, of course, our characters are kind of space archaeologists or space treasure hunters. They've been following, and now they're getting close to the last piece that they need for this MacGuffin that they have been hunting for since the beginning. If you're watching this, this is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. Gauntlet is an online gaming community, gaming club, which has a calendar of games that we set up, what we use to help people, get organized with online games. And get people into games that have safety tools and a good framework and a regular play. Usually indie story games, but also OSR. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. Also, if you're watching this, know that we also have this and most of the games that are on the Gauntlet available as podcasts. So if you're more comfortable listening to them, it's worth hunting that down. I want to mention as well, X-Card is on the table as our basic safety tool, and our lines and veils are spiders are a line, and then also a sexual assault, suicide, torture, and then the veils are eye injuries and harm to animals. So where we take off last time we saw, it would probably be in the teaser for the episode, we would see the group saying their farewells there to the ships of the Kyber swarm. We would see the ships of the swarm that had been lured away, returning back. Some more celebrations. We would see the crew getting ready in the ship, and we would see that jump from the portal, and we would again see Coriolis, the centerpiece, the grand station that the group returns to again and again. It is the hub of this, this galaxy. I don't know what to call it. I think it is the hub of the horizon. It is the Zenithian ship that was converted into this massive station, and it is a crossroads for the various systems that are tied together by the portals. And so we will see the group arrive there. Before we get too much further, I want to check in anybody stress or XP or anything I should know about, any start of session moves. Let me do a quick check-in on that. Anything? Sherry? Did you get an upgrade, or are you still at 3?
I did my upgrade, and I'm at 3. I ended up with a ton at the end there.
A lot of failed rolls. Always good.
It was my specialty.
Okay. And Stephen, you're at 2. Did you get an upgrade last time?
I am at 3 stress, actually.
Ooh, look at that.
Yes.
Good.
Yes, I also had a lot of failed rolls.
Yes.
And and I think I upgraded my weird last time.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yes. And before we land at Coriolis,
yes,
I remember that the security forces were monitoring my last attempt to deliver the package.
Yes, they were.
So I was wondering if it would be possible to fake the ship's ID or something before we came into the system. Set it up, do some sort of hacking so that they don't recognize us.
Well, we will do that as we do the approach. Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
You have the stealth thing, the stealth system. So it seems to me that that's a good thing to perhaps add on to that. Rich, did you get an advance?
Mubaton did not get an advance unspent. I don't have any marks. I'm at 4 XP, so I think she's just waiting to fail a few more times.
Absolutely.
I was so successful at just,
Yes. If you have discharged moves, you may reset those.
Thank you.
That essentially will happen with the passing of time. Patrick, did you get an advance?
I did, because I am burning the system to the ground, apparently.
Yes.
So running out of options, I went with TK Master just to add a couple more options to my telekinesis for like fine control or actually doing harm rather than just like tossing people around rooms.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I like it. So we won't do the jump move, essentially the move for making a jump. We'll do that later when you guys change systems here in the course of this. But I think that to do this change, this technical thing, I think that's going to probably be a thing from your scientists, from your tech. Does that seem reasonable, Sherry?
That what's going to happen? I'm sorry.
To do the changing of this, the
Oh,
jury rigging, the sign.
I got it. And that's good because I just took my advance in computers, data sciences, and networks along with all the other things. So this should work great. So
Go
when I
ahead.
make a move that's covered by one of my fields of expertise, I can do the following. If I make a move that I choose from a list, choose one or more, I can ask a question, or I can share my expertise with a crew member and they have advantage going forward. But I think in this thing, which one am I making? Which move seems the best fit?
I think jury rig.
Jury rig, okay. All right. And let's do that. Then I get to choose one more, which is good. Okay. Sorry. Adding, calculating. For a moment, it was a good roll. So 6 plus 3 is 9.
Okay. So you have to make do with your bonus. You'll be able to choose 2 out of the list. So what is it that you don't want to have happen, or which one don't you pick?
Let's see here. I think it won't break the first time I use it. So it means it'll break after that. But
Okay.
I'm like, it's one-time use only.
That's all we need.
So the crew will get in, will land. The security system reads your deck as something else. You land in. You hit one of the like cheap side sort of ports, essentially the ones with the people that don't ask questions. But they also don't provide you the best of services here. So let's look, and we're going to, our ship right now is past due on maintenance. That's just want to put that out there as a thing, which means that any ship moves done from this point forward are done at disadvantage until that is taken care of. So there are 2 moves that we're going to do. We're going to do the crew is back in town. And then we are going to essentially get the payoff for the thing. And everybody will be able to do their hey, big spender things. And that will be in part boosted by the materials that you got from your dive into the planet. So that will make it actually a event and a roll that is not quite as bad as it might otherwise be. So someone needs to roll with your disposition, with the which will be a 0 as opposed to the negative that it would have been had you in fact not done the transponder.
And I will do that roll because I just remembered that I actually took 2 advances last time, and one of them gives me advantage on this roll.
Ooh, look at you. That's your captain.
Eight. And it's a good thing I took that roll, but that move, because otherwise it would have been a 6.
So your welcome isn't a warm one. Choose one. Trouble related to a hook, open conflict that makes things unstable, or a shortage of crisis has driven prices up, which gives you disadvantage dealing with merchants and vendors.
Let's see. Let's take a look at the hooks. Let's see if we've got something that's interesting. Let's see. I wonder if the Lascard family might have a heavy presence on the station at the moment.
I think that seems reasonable. They are present, and they essentially have brought news and are taking that around of the wedding between the Meneb's family and the Lascarids, and they are spending money all around the station as essentially wedding gift kind of things, and making themselves popular throughout here. So they are flush with cash, spending that money, but it does mean that there are lots and lots of Lascarid and Lascarid agents and people who are more sympathetic to Lascarids present on the station at this moment. Then ship payment is going to be you rolling with, because you got those crystals, with a +2. If you're handing those off, willing to sell those, that's what you will get.
Sure. Okay. And with the +2 brings that to an 8.
That is an 8. So you're going to get the standard deal. Choose 2 from the ship payment contract complete list.
The second I'm looking for. All right, well, let's pay the bills and reset the maintenance fuse.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll divide the spoils for some walking around money so everyone can roll on Hey Big Spender.
That is very generous of you. I appreciate that you did that. The lure of the upgrades to the ship are always important. So let's go through the Hey Big Spender roll, shall we? And fractal this out. Captain, will save you for last on that. Let's begin then moving our way across that. Mumaton, you haven't had a chance to make a Hey Big Spender roll.
I know. I'm so excited. All right. Looking at the basic moves. Sorry, it's not in the basic. It's in the other.
Everyone's disposition is 0 right now with
All
the
right,
station.
so just roll plus dispo. Here we go. Awesome. I got a 6. So I'll mark that XP.
But you only have access to the basics. You can clear your stress track, clear all harm. I think that's already been taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Mark a tick on a project. Make 1 purchase from the advanced gear list. Make 2 purchases from the basic gear list. The other thing is you can choose an extra one, but there may be danger, or we may burn the fuse on your nemesis track.
Well, I mean, I don't even know what I want. except to say that I do want to burn the fuse of a Nemesis track.
Okay.
I don't know what I want, but I want 2 of it.
Yeah, I want 2 of
Alright.
it, so I'll work on those things.
We will come back to that incident. Let's swing around to Kyrie. Let's have you make your big spender roll. You've always done pretty well on these.
Why would you say that? Why? What is wrong with you?
Normally I say you
wishing
do
evil on me?
terribly. You know, you're going to do terribly. Now I'm trying to be
Hate my
positive.
dice? Well, they listen to you. That's a 4.
Hey, look, you get to mark XP.
Goody.
And do you want 1 extra?
Well, I mean, I don't not want 1 extra.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll put that aside. We'll come back to that decision. Sherry, let's come to you.
An 8.
An 8. So you've got plenty of time and money. You get to choose 2 from the list. You can also choose an additional 1 and continue to mark that fuse. The fuse is already going to explode. So at this point, you're losing money, not
Yeah, so what's even the harm of doing more?
exactly.
All
And
right,
then
that sounds great.
Nikos.
I got an 11.
Look at you. You can find your heart's desire, spend big, and live life to the fullest. Purchase 1 from the specialty gear or black market, or choose 3 from those picks.
Right. Well, I think I'm actually going to choose 3 because I want to clear my stress track.
Okay.
And that means that I'm going to pick up some gear, I think.
Okay. And that gear sheet still needs tweaking, but there is a gear list in the folder on the site.
Yeah.
And as a reminder from what we found out last time, to use the tactical pack move, you have to buy a tactical pack, which is an advanced gear.
Right. Yeah.
But super useful. All right. So Mumaton, let's start with you. When you land on the ship and you get off and there's lots of noise and things like that, and there are lots of people wearing the Lascarid heraldry.
Oh no.
And outfits moving around here, but also people on their lips are praise for the Lascarids and their generosity here. So what are you going to do during your little bit of downtime here?
I mean, really, what Mumaton is after is she's going to pick up I gave myself a tactical pack, but now that I realize it's advanced gear, I think I'm just going to make that one of my packs so I don't feel like I kind of cheated the system. So I'll take
Sure.
that as my advanced gear.
Okay.
And she's not a fan of the Lascarid at all, because they're mostly terrible.
Right.
But it's not like she's going to run around and pick a fight with somebody because they're stupid. If so, she'd never stop fighting. So I think she's with this basic gear, the second pick.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's going to use it for liquid assets that she's then going to burn on just seeking fun stuff to do.
That is one
Party
of your
gal.
things is
Yeah,
that you are very much about. What is it that you indulge in when you go and you burn through your money? What is it that we see on camera?
Oh, I think she heads to like some kind of bathhouse, and then maybe she gets her like a mani-pedi and just like all creature comfort stuff, and then heads out to some kind of club for dancing, fun stuff. Like, and she'll try to drag along Kalaba, but maybe she's, I don't know, she's always. busy
Would,
doing.
does
other stuff.
Kalaba go dancing? Take a drink.
Kalaba is intrigued by the offer of going dancing and accepts it, but when you come to find her at the time, she's clearly like deep in a project, and when you talk to her, she doesn't even hear you.
Figures.
I got a project I'm working on. That's what my downtime is.
Fair enough. So yeah, that's what we have from.
Absolutely. I'm going to frame all this up so that when we come back, when I have the explosion go off. I
Okay,
know
good.
everybody
Yeah,
is
good.
at.
Thank goodness.
On the fuse that is has been
Right. Yeah. Not a full explosion, like a figure, like a not a literal
Wait,
explosion.
What's exploding? Why are things exploding? We're just buying stuff.
Yesterday I watched Aquaman, and I think at least 5 times there's a scene where 2 people are talking and they are hit by an explosion out of nowhere and sent flying, like literally 5 times. I was like, again, it's the same. It became just a joke after a while.
No dialogue, more action.
Yes. Let's cut this short.
I just want to say I love that movie. Despite its flaws, it's delightful, and I'll fight you. No.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It was a film. Kyrie, what is your downtime on the station look like? What are you picking up?
So I'm picking up an advanced gear, and Kyrie is continuing his sort of cybernetic enhancements. In addition to the virtual interface, I'm going to pick up a sensor pack, which is I think the virtual interface like included a cyber eye, but this is like expanding on that. I think like 1 eye and 1 ear, sort of this metal streak of cyber.
Sure, a little Deathlock kind of thing going on there.
Yeah, perfectly normal and fine.
Fair enough.
But it's very much like keyed into that sort of like adrenaline based super focused senses of hearing things or focusing in vision, just because he's really paranoid.
Absolutely.
And then for my other, I also wanted to mark a tick on personal project.
Okay. Does that complete your personal project?
No, that gets me halfway through investigating the hounds.
Fair enough. Let's come to Kalaba.
Hi.
What are you up to?
Well, I made 3 choices because the fuse is going anyway, right?
Absolutely.
So I did go out and get a tactical pack. That has been very clear that one of those would be handy to have on occasion. We were kind of slow to learn that. And then I finished up my second project on the disc.
Okay.
So.
And was that 2 ticks of that or just one?
It was 2 ticks.
Okay. So tell me about this second project.
So this project was essentially to, how should we say, to understand the discs and to get a container, a way to hold them together for when I add the 5th one. It's essentially to have the thing of as soon as we have it, then we can make that, we can choose to, like, I can have the disc and then I can put it together when I choose to. So if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. Something where you can have the other discs together and then insert this, and when it goes into whatever device it is, then whatever field is keeping them separated goes away and they connect up.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, I think absolutely you can get that set. You'll figure out what kind of energy and fields you need to have there to keep them apart from one another, and to keep them from going beyond their limits. Because you definitely have the sense that if you were to put these together, that there would be a rising level of power, but
Yeah.
you are keeping them separated from one another. So yeah. And because the discs are like this big, so probably a box, bigger than that. So it is something that is portable, but it's still bulky.
Okay.
Okay. Let's come to Captain Nikos.
Yes, in addition to clearing my stress track, I also picked up a tactical pack.
Okay.
And I got a Dura sword because, looking at Mumaton's gear list, having a sword seems cool.
It does. Mumaton was kind of a badass last time.
Yes, and I had one more piece of basic gear available, so I also got a really cool guitar.
Is it like a handmade guitar, or is it a more a space orchestra guitar, or what do you imagine there?
It's like a classic guitar. It's like they claim that it was actually like brought in the first wave, but I can tell that it's a knockoff. It's made in that style, but it's a good knockoff.
Yeah, they've actually used good woods to simulate that, and so on. So let me come back around to Mumaton. You are there, relaxing in the sauna, the steam pours, that kind of thing, and finally, getting relaxed, and there is that moment when you're like, it got quiet out in the outer room. Like they've been chatting, like you'd heard, the people chatting with customers and things like that. And then it got quiet.
Is it it's quiet, too quiet moment?
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome. I love those moments.
And you can see the little handle on the sauna thing, even through the steam. Someone is turning it very slowly, very carefully.
I think I'll get up and out of the sauna, head towards the door, and see what's going on.
Okay. You are maybe 2/3 of the way there, but certainly out of the range. When that door comes open and there's the foot of someone letting loose with the needler here, is spreading it out across the benches there. And the thing is, when they hit, there's a pop. So they're using, they're serious about this. These are
Nice.
What do you do?
Sweet. I'm going to bound forward towards them, because if I hang back, they're going to have an easy shot at me. I got to get to that door. I got to get on the other side of the door so that I have some options.
Let's have you roll with volatile.
Okay, I will do that thing. Let me cease here. Let me look at my moves real quick. I'm going to move forward. I'm flinching towards a goal through an immediate danger, a hazard that others cower from. Is that cool?
Nice. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, here we go. And I rolled a 7. My stalwart and volatile are both 2. So let's roll with stalwart. So it's a 9, 7 to the 9. Weariness creeps in at the edge. Mark 1 stress and choose 1. If you take harm, take a -1 harm. If you clear or uncover a path for an ally, not worried about ally, I'm the only one, you unquestionably reach my goal. I think I better take -1 harm right now.
So you are up. You're only going to take 1 harm then, as essentially one of these flechette sort of needler rounds passes through your arm and cuts it open, but it doesn't ignite. when it goes there. And you kind of up by the door, and there's a pair of figures. The one who shot is falling back, popping another clip in this, and the other person is shifting over down low to try and cover. And the first guy is trying to tell them she's right by the door. As you get over there, we will come back to you in a second. Kyrie, what are you up to? You are, by the way, still you're a bad picture of you is still on the grids around here. Let's go on.
I think I will take advantage of this fact, the fact that I'm just ticking a tick off of this rather than making a move for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to say, even though there's been no in-game evidence to support this, that Kyrie's virtual interface is going off perfectly, and he's having this wonderful mind meld with the computer systems, because if I ever rely on actually rolling that move, it'll just explode again. So
Absolutely.
this is great. We're seeing it on screen, like Kyrie's in a sort of like meditative virtual world trance with this like formless being that is the computer net here. And yeah, I don't know, finding out something about the hounds.
So where do you do that? I mean, do you have to go to like a booth? Are you just on the station?
I think I probably had to sneak into somewhere.
Okay.
Like a sort of like server farm or something like that, to get the closer access that I needed.
So you're down in that area, and as you kind of are going through there, you reach in there, and you definitely will see the captain's name drift across your thing. Recent requests come through, descriptions of your crew, descriptions of that kind of float through the data, like someone recently transmitted a tight beam message here to Coriolis, essentially putting out the word that this crew, someone would pay good money to have this crew removed from operation. The thing that strikes you is it's not the style of the pariah.
Check it several times, like that would be wrong somehow.
Yeah.
Is there any way I could try and like track more information about who sent this? I mean, I'm here.
Absolutely. You could
positioned.
absolutely roll for that.
Ah, damn it.
I think that would definitely be a scope it out.
Can I try and mind spike the computer instead?
Try and mind spike the computer. Sure. Let's look at that again. Yeah, you could certainly do that. Discharge that move.
And I'll discharge the virtual interface as well.
Okay.
Dude, just, violently drill down into the computer information layers. No problems here.
Absolutely.
That's better roll. 8, I don't think I have a 2. I do have a 2. 10.
10, okay. You push deep into the system, and what is it that you want?
I want to hold 2, so I'm going to spend 1 of my hold. You pillage their thoughts and feelings, ask a question, you'll get a true answer. So I want to find out who sent this like information packet to the station.
So yeah, so that doesn't take your hold because the hold is spent on the other part. But You can definitely get this answer, right?
No, that is one of the things I spend the hold on. It's I drill down, and it's the either you force them to take a single action, or you pillage their thoughts and ask a question.
Yeah, and then does that cost your hold? Because then it has the when you spend hold and choose.
I ask.
Oh.
I ask a question from below. Sorry, not a free form question.
Okay. All right.
How could I get your character to tell me who sent that packet? And it's either an answer or take two harm, whatever that means for a computer system.
I think that you're going to have to burn both hold here for this, because the first time you hit through is the first time you realize that those mystics have arrived on Coriolis. And you can feel that one of the tasks that they've been assigned to is monitoring the system, like using their senses to do that. And you end up having to burn essentially through mystic ice to push past. Nice. But the second question will get you that essentially this request came through Foundation channels. And it came from the Foundation station, then trace it back, and it looks like it was a fast beam broadcast from Amido. Like somebody spent a lot of money, because getting intersystem comms fast is really hard and expensive. So somebody wanted to spend the money to get this ahead of your arrival. And you're lucky because it's only been a couple of hours that this notice has been out there. But you will definitely pick up the name Pbta-based, who is that Foundation scientist who has the last piece.
Then as I'm like, because it's hard for Kyrie, especially with these new implants, to like pull himself out of that virtual perception of reality. But as I sort of like struggle out from the system and the mystic influences there, I want to send a communication, like our sort of private network back to the ship and from the ship out to them, rather than using the station network, with like the wanted posters and the Foundation, like whatever the typeface, the header at the top of it, that it came from them, and then put a message below. It's like project led by Pbta-based.
And I think because you have those implants, I don't think that's any difficulty. There's no roll needed. You can send that, and that communication will be absolutely encrypted and unwatched. Sound good?
Thank you, Ship. Thank you for once just doing something that we asked.
Yeah.
But
you never come and visit me in this cyberspace. You just kind of gotta go on Coriolis, and you go and
I wasn't actually
talk to that ship there.
That sort of internal dialogue. I wasn't meaning to send that.
No.
Firewall between public and private message. I need to.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, because I don't understand how this works. Okay, never mind.
No, I'm just it's complicated trying to deal with these new systems.
Oh, it's too complicated for me. Is that what you're saying?
Not for you.
I'll go
I mean,
back
for
to
me,
programming
like,
coordinates.
Oh my god! How do I get you out of my head?
Let's come to Kalaba.
So I'm literally like 20 feet down that door is in the hallway from where Kyrie's is. So I get the wanted posters and stuff, and I've kind of finished up on things, and I'm like, and I'll peek out of my door, and I'll go and check on him.
He's not there. because he used his psychic stuff to reach down into here. He went down closer to the server farms on the station.
Oh, that's really weird. Well, I should go tell Mumaton, because if she's dancing, she might not be monitoring.
The ship says, there are some people out by the doors to the ship.
Really? That's not a smart place for them to be. I'll go and rig things up so if they try to break in, we can smash them. Totally Home Alone.
Okay. Yeah, I think you can certainly set that up. It's like these look like low lives,
Oh, really?
and they've kind of come and they've clearly kind of checking the ship out, and like the sense that they're not certain if this is the ship they're looking for, but they've kind of stopped. They're talking to each other, and they're kind of like, clearly we're just gonna sit and wait and like just keep an eye on who comes and goes here.
Huh. That's the most boring.
But you will call Kala. Kala, you pulled back, and you hear that second person, and then you'll hear Mumaton. You hear Kala Bath through your comms going, "Hey, Mumaton."
A little busy. But what?
There's some folks after us?
Yeah.
Oh, you found him, did you?
Well, I may question one of them.
There's some people with not a lot of initiative sitting outside the ship. They won't come in, which means I either have to go out or I have to come up with some idea to get them to come in and fall into my traps.
Sit tight. I'll be by to kill them soon.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll get my guns ready then too. I'll come from behind. We can do
if you haven't heard from me in a while, then just assume I'm dead and leave.
Do you need help? I can come. I'll just shoot these guys.
You've got the people. I'm fine.
They're nothing. I'll be there soon. See, signs off.
That's probably the amount of conversation we have before there's fighting.
Captain Nikos, and then we'll come back to Mumaton. Where is this last drop point?
There are a set of lockers in a very seedy gem, which is also well known as a hookup place for prostitutes and various sex stuff. It's very disreputable portion of the station.
It's damp down here. Like the processors don't quite work here, so everything is slightly moist as you go into this place, and the PA thing for the piped in music is sort of like someone broke it at one point and they fixed it, so it keeps sputtering out, as the music plays. And yeah, you'll head over to the locker. Let's have you roll. Keep your cool.
All right. Let's see. Which is keep your cool? Is that calculating?
That is stalwart.
Stalwart. Okay. Stalwart is 1. So. And that is a 4.
So you are very pleased because you finally get this goddamn thing out of your hands into this locker. You are very, very happy there. But when you kind of turn around and start walking away, you will see two guys. Yeah.
And when I put it in the locker, was the encryption key there?
Yep.
Okay.
Got your little payment encryption key. It goes in there. And there's a thank you there for from the sender. But you will see these two people step inside, and they do not look like they're going here to exercise or go to a gym or liaison with people. But instead, they look like they have followed you and are after you, and they don't look like station security. And it's about that time that you get that blip send from Kyrie that kind of hits you, and you see these two figures like lock eyes with you. What do you do?
I'm running the other way.
Okay.
And I mean, I figure a place like this, they're used to police raids. I've got some law enforcement experience. I can make a pretty good guess as to what the back exit is.
Let's have you act quick.
That would be a 5.
That would be a 5. So what happens is you get to mark XP. That's the good news. The bad news is essentially both these guys pull up and they've got shotguns. And the first guy's shot goes wide and hits like this rack of protein powder. And those all explode, and there's all this nasty bone dust and things in the air. But the other guy wings you with a shot, and you're going to take 2 harm.
Okay, I am wearing body armor, which
Then you may reduce that.
yeah, which is absorb 2. So that does that neutralize it completely?
Yeah, I think that'll neutralize it completely. But you are knocked down, and when those shotguns go off, you'll hear the sound of the like clearly they've got a thing. When shit goes down, they drop a thing to make it harder for people to go to the back, and you're kind of caught in here with these people. We'll come back to you in just 1 second. Let's deal with the other person who's getting murdered. Mumaton.
I think a little bit of exception with the idea of getting murdered. Like
It might be the other people. I might not be talking with you.
okay, okay, all right. Well, then that's fine.
So what do? You have no equipment on you. You've got a towel. You've gotten hit by these things. The second guy has come up. The first guy has fallen back to take his time, getting another load into here. It is a steam-filled room.
Oh, that's so cool. I totally love this. I think she whips off the towel because she's going to have to use it to help defend herself. And then she's going to be moving through the steam for the guy who's reloading her weapon for her and going to disarm him and take that weapon away from him.
Okay, I think that'll be a firefight move.
Sounds appropriate. So firefight rolling with Volatile. Here we go. Rolled an 8 plus 2 for Volatile is a 10. We will exchange harm, and I get to choose 3.
One of them may be to take the weapon away.
Okay, then I will make that choice for sure. Play cage and suffer -1 harm. And don't sorry, just to play cagey, suffer 1 harm. I'm disarming, and yeah, I think I'm gonna impress, dismay, or frighten my enemy as my 3rd option.
So I think you come out of the mist from a direction they don't expect. And your towel wraps around the guy's hands who's recharging this, and you will yank him into the room, and we'll hear that sound as he flies and hits the hot rocks, and there's that sizzle as he hits there. You've got that gun in your hand. The guy who was down and sweeping, you're suddenly just right up on him, and he falls back, gets one little shot, does a harm to you with the reduced harm, and you kind of pushed him back, and you've got a gun. And then do you let him have it?
I think I should. I mean, I'm rattled right now.
Okay. Then you may either roll firefight or alpha strike, given that you dismayed them.
Alpha strike. Ooh, that's rolling with calculating, though. Oh.
But you don't necessarily have to exchange harm.
That's true. Dang it. I'm so bad at calculating, too.
Do you have an advance?
I spent it to upgrade my gear slots because I'm dumb. Sorry, this is so fun. Yeah, I'm gonna. I have a chance to capitalize on it, but I realize I'm gonna have to play a little bit of cautious. So she slides back and brings the needler up and squeezes out the shot.
Okay, then let's have you roll with volatile.
Oh mercy! Here we go. Oof, I am so. Yeah, I'm glad I did that because that's another 10. Yeah.
Exchange harm and choose 3.
Yeah, I will discharge my weapon with the discharge tag, dealing
Okay.
double its harm. Play cagey and suffer -1 harm, and then I think I'll disengage and take a moment to recover because I may have to juggernaut in a second.
So I think you will let loose into this guy who's got the other gun, and when those shots hit, he goes down because they've got little micro explosives on them, and so the needlers go in, and then there's a woof, and he will drop to the ground. The other guy is rolling off from the sizzle of the stones and is getting himself righted. If you want to, with that recover, you can get out of here. Got an empty gun.
Yeah.
Or you can stop, take this gun, and keep going.
So it's such a like there. If I were, can I read the situation? I want to know, like, is their normal MO they'll just send 2 in because they think that's how they could do it, or should I expect based on the MO of this particular?
Yeah, let's have you scope it out.
Yeah, that they're more outside. If they're more outside, that I think that would have a thing. So, I am rolling. Sorry, you said something, and my brain was still stuck.
Calculating.
No. Okay. I'm not very smart.
You said you wanted calculating. Here we
That's
are.
a 7.
That's a 7. So you get to ask a question.
Can I expect more of them outside?
Okay, yeah, I think that seems a fair modification of those questions. I think that these people don't look that sophisticated. They're heavily armed because they knew you were dangerous. They got that much info. There's probably a third person, out at the front desk. But that's probably the most that this team has, given what you know.
Okay, sweet. Then I am gonna. Damn, I'm not gonna be vicious. All right, so I'm knowing that I've shot the one guy and discharged the weapon. I'll walk back into the sauna with the guy who's extracting himself from having his face burnt there, and my plan is to intimidate / beat him down to figure out exactly who it is. I think I know who it is.
Okay.
But, good to know.
Let me come back to Captain Nikos, and then I'm going to check in with Kyrie and Kala. Nikos, you're in this front area. It has crappy gym equipment that they have here is kind of a front. So, we've got treadmills, we've got weights to be lifted, we've got Bowflex style things. All of those are in here, and there's a fine cloud of protein powder hanging in the air, and these two are looking and sweeping. What do you want to do?
I think I'm going to have to get past these guys. So I'm going to use whatever cover I've got and rush them.
Okay. So this, I think, are we still going act quick?
Sounds good.
So what is the thing that is going to give you the edge to be able to do this with two guys with shotguns? What is your cunning plan here?
Well, there's a lot of equipment here, like with weights, and I can pull some pins and send a whole bunch of barbels clattering down the aisle as a distraction. And then there's a lot of cover with the gym equipment.
Let's
So
have you
now-
roll. I like it. I like it.
9.
That is a 9. Choose one.
I will suffer 1 stress.
Yeah, you will not send the got those multiple racks, and these are poorly made. So you kind of pull that pin, and the whole thing comes down, and suddenly there are all these smashing, clattering, and you rush past as one of them, takes a shotgun shot over that way, kind of barrel knock into this person, hit the concourse, kind of catch your foot there and dash. And there's one of those like elevators that the doors are just closing on, and we'll see you do that sort of side in as those close. And you will get out of there. People look at you. You are just covered in like what looks like yellowed flour.
Okay, well, in this gym, that's not that unusual.
Yeah, they kind of look at you as and they turn away like, okay, not going to ask questions. But you have delivered the item. Kyrie, let's get back to you.
Hello.
Yeah, you look like seems like you're perfectly safe where you are down in the server farm.
Yeah, it seems. I mean, I'm probably definitely the only person in here, unless. So I had to come down here and get some sort of like proximity to these servers to be able to get fully into the system like I haven't before.
Yeah.
So my theory is that somewhere around here, if they have mystics like in and manipulating the system, there's either someone down here in the computers or some sort of like link that they've set up. Something that'll give them range. So I want to try and track down where their presence here is in the computers or in the station's computers is.
Well, you've actually bumped them out. The damage that you did has forced them out from that, because while they're mystics, they are not like you. They are people that can see and vision, and they are very much like when you touch their minds, you're like, you don't have power. They don't have the darkness that you have.
My darkness is very special.
It is very special.
So can I get a sense of like where the closest of of my crewmates are?
Yeah. I don't think that's a role. I think probably the closest of your crewmates, given how in the depths you are, is Captain Nikos, who is rapidly approaching. Given that he's coming up from the underside in a freight elevator.
Then yeah, I'll move to intercept the elevator.
Okay. The doors will open and you will see a somewhat dogged, protein powdered covered Captain Nikos. He still makes it look good.
Captain, are you all right? Is that some sort of like? Did they get you with some sort of chemical agent?
There's nothing. This is just protein flour. I'm glad to see you, Kyrie. You you always are in the right spot.
I was just doing good. Thanks. No, we
Yeah,
should
great.
get going.
We should get back to the ship. Yeah.
They had a presence in the station systems, but they're out for the moment, so should be good to cover or to travel under their radar.
Yeah, but they're definitely looking for us. That was a good call, Kyrie.
Is there anyone after you?
Well, yeah, but we can talk while we run.
Let's do the running then.
And what are you doing, Kala?
Well, at first she envisions rushing out and shooting a bunch of lowlifes, and then it occurs to her that they haven't started the maintenance bake-off that you do after you come in from the thing. So she just goes and she sets the door for the shuttle bay to open up, like so it unlatches, and she sets the maintenance, essentially the oven cleaning that has to occur on the outer part of the ship to start up. And this will kick off a bunch of dirt and steam and stuff like that for a short while.
Yeah, those controllers, yeah, they're probably directed heat things. So suddenly it gets this blast of material in the air. And this, as we said, this is a shitty maintenance bay. So there's no like protective things for people. And you know, it suddenly gets super hot, and these people like, oh well, Jesus, they fall back, you know, to a safe distance there as that starts up.
Yeah, and I had said it as things, so I would have stepped out the shuttle bay, and then it should have clicked in. And then while they're retreating, I would just be taking a slightly different path and going around them.
Okay.
I had also grabbed Mumatan's body armor, and I have that in a backpack.
Okay. So you are rushing to Mumatan's location?
Yes.
Okay. Mumatan, go back into the steam and smoke. There's a smell of burnt hair as you go in, and you're going to try and intimidate this guy, right?
I am.
Let's have you roll with volatile.
Cool. That is a 6.
That is a 6. So you still don't have anything here but clothes. Clothes-wise, you've got the towel, you've got that empty gun, and when you get over and grab onto this guy, you can see he's got his boot knife out, and you start to say something, and he swings by and he cuts that towel in half that you're kind of using to control the situation, and he is up and he is going low on his feet, and he's doing that thing where he is swinging the knife around, keeping you back, and he's clearly trying to force you out of this room, out into the hallway.
Ooh, yeah, I've got to do that thing, right? I really don't want to get cut because I've got nothing against that right this minute. If only I had my body armor. So she will retreat back into the hallway, and she's terrible at this, but she's going to unsling the weapon and bring it up, hoping he doesn't know that it's been discharged. Mm-hmm. and say, back off.
Does that seem like manipulate?
I think so.
Okay, let's have you roll slick.
I'm 0 on slick. Hold on though. I am rattled, so I roll with disadvantage. Here we go. That's a 5.
So that is a 5. So this guy heard the sound, like he knows enough to know that gun is empty, and he comes up, and you will see as he does that, at the corner of your eye, that person who's out the front desk has stepped into the hall, and suddenly you have to fall back deeper into this place. You can't get past them because they've set up a killing box in this hallway.
Scary.
And let's see. And I think you will also realize that they were here for a while, and it looks like that guy who's up front with the gun, like they got your locker and they got your gear.
Oh, snap. I am seriously pissed now.
So you'll fall back into this place, and they are following up. We'll come back to you in just one moment. Kala, how are you going to fix this situation with Momoton?
Well, I feel bad because I didn't go dancing with her, and she forgot about me then. But here's what it is I know that she's in that place. And so all she needs is for me to assist her tactically. So I have to get there, and while I'm going up, I'm getting the schematics of the floor, and then of maybe that, like where that thing is, so I can understand if I've got some other points of entry to the place.
Okay, so how do you want to read this?
Scoping it out?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Ooh. So I get a 7.
So you get a question.
I get a question. Okay. So where's the second entrance for this spa place?
So I think there is a maintenance access, essentially Jeffrey's tubes for the atmospherics, that is accessible. Does that
All
seem
right.
fair?
I'm going to do that because that sounds more engineering-y anyway.
Okay.
I'm going for it.
Are you trying to climb through those? Or are you instructing Numiton to climb through those?
Oh, I'll tell her about them. Say, I can come through them or you can go through them. I don't know where you are, but I'll describe what they look like.
Sounds good. I'll see
Where
what
are
I
you?
can do. Oh, I'm at the bathhouse.
No, I know. In the bathhouse.
Oh. And she'll look around and quickly describe if she's ended up in a bathroom or if she's in some kind of closet or...
Probably a more bathroom back area that kind of forced you back into this zone. With shots. They're following up, one guy with the blade and one guy with the needler, and they're playing it much more cautious now.
Yep, I'm not. This is awesome. I want to recover if I can.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll that with Stalwart.
Oh, good. I will do that then. And that is a 6 + 2, 7, 8. Okay.
Good. Get to choose 2.
Let me find. Is that under action moves, if I remember correctly?
Combat moves.
Combat moves, of course. That makes sense. All right. Ready to move, weapon or piece of gear. And I don't have a tactical pack. So I will shrug it off and ready that needler. So that is my plan.
And I think that they get you in a position now where they are between you and that Jeffrey's tube access.
Nice.
Like you're going to have Kala come and help you.
I'm going in.
So, Kyrie, Nikos, you have gotten back to the ship, and you hear the sound of the big, sound of the cleaning process going through, and you will see a couple of guys outside your the bay for your ship that are standing there kind of brushing themselves off. And they don't look like maintenance guys, because maintenance guys don't usually carry pistols like that.
And what exactly is the cleaning process for the ship that you're talking about was making all this noise?
Imagine that it's a loud oven cleaner. Like it's a combination of heat and scrubbing and things like that is going on the ship, and they've had to get out of that bay just because of all the dust and heat and unpleasantness.
Yeah, normally the kind of thing you would do in vacuum. It's doing it on a station, we will probably be fined if we stick around long enough for that to happen.
I mean, like, unless someone was to accidentally fall into that cleaning machine, because that seems like it'd be a very uncomfortable place to be.
It would be very uncomfortable. What are you doing, Kyrie?
I'm saying you get the one on the left. And then I'd like to discharge my telekinesis move. So I focus on the one on the right.
Let's have you roll.
You know, the docks are just like, docks and shipyards are crazy places. Things go wrong all the time. You can never tell when an accident might be coming if you're just standing around where you're not supposed to be. Ten.
10. So
my intent is strong, and I choose one.
I absolutely. And you're sending him flying backwards. Is that your pick?
Yeah.
And I think there's that moment where this guy's like, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get set up, and we're going to set up for an ambush. And then what we're going to, and then, whoosh, and you'll hear the, and and essentially flies through. Well, we hear the flash of the plasma cutters and the heat things, and then just the sound of multiple things hitting the floor.
Oh, they're gonna have to clean that section again.
Nikos. What do you do?
I'll alpha strike the one on the left.
Roll with calculating.
N.
Choose 2.
Yeah, I will disable them and yeah, well, I guess I don't need to worry about whether my position is exposed or compromised, so I'll also deal my weapons harm.
Okay. So you will fire that off, and this guy drops there. I do think that the guy flying into this and the sound of the gunfire in here is going to trigger off an alarm, and so we'll hear that start up like security check to Bay 13. Security check to Bay 13. We have an issue, and that is happening right now. But these two guys are out. Kala, you are Mumaton's only hope. Take a drink.
And now I have to get through these Jeffrey tubes, but it's okay because I know how to sync them. So essentially, all that you have to do is you begin with the top one, and you start tapping it, and then it will change its reading on how it's turning, and it will. And if I keep on doing that, it will slowly sync them up all the way down the line. It takes about 30 seconds.
Are you technobabbling? Is that what I'm hearing?
Technobabbling, totally
Okay.
doing it. So I'm giving it a misreading on what the things are doing, so I can at least get the blade synced up.
You're going to have to keep your cool,
Okay.
but with the technobabble, you're going to have advantage.
All right, I will take it. What do you roll to keep your cool with?
Stalwart.
Oh, that's good. I have 2 in that, but I can still mess that up. Oh no, I get a 14.
So Mumaton, you're there. They've got you pinned down. You don't have access. You've grabbed like some loose clothing and things to keep yourself set, and you're waiting there. They do that cat and mouse, a couple of shots, maybe trying to drive you in a particular way. The other guy has found a gun, and they're getting set there. And then your armor falls out of the ceiling.
Sorry.
That's awesome.
and drops down in there. And you can look up and you will see Kalaba up in the ceiling.
She goes, I've got a rifle. I'm going to come down, okay?
Maybe I should come up.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And Gio's going to quickly like throw on the body armor and try to clamber up out of the way.
Let's have you act quick to get armored and out of here before
Okay.
they realize the change in the situation.
Here we go. Rolling 2d6. Got an 8, and act quick is a. What is
Slick.
that one? A slick? Slick? So it's just a straight up 8.
Straight up 8. So you do it, but you need to choose one.
Yeah. Off balance rush, disadvantage going forward, left something behind you, and we'll tell you what. Push to your limits. The effort suffer one stress. I'll suffer some stress.
Okay, so I think it is the sound of you two kind of rushing through these Jeffrey tubes, and we hear the sound of them bursting into the room you were in behind you, laying in the fire, and then more shouting as you guys drop out into the main area and rush back to the ship. And grab the gear bag so you don't lose any of that momentum, because that wasn't a pick you made. So you'll grab that, and
Yep.
the four of you will make your way to the ship. We are going to take a 5-minute break here, and when we will continue with all of you safely ensconced on your vessel. All right? Take 5. So it is, to my mind, the greatest thing in the world that they've had to issue a patch for the Cats movie.
What?
So the Cats movie, you know, Rum Tum Tugger and all that,
Mhm.
is a new movie. So it's all out on digital. So apparently there were a lot of effects things and issues with the movie when it was released. So this weekend they had to issue a patch and have the movie theaters run a patched version of the film with effects
Wow.
corrected and so on. Like apparently in some of the effects, the cats that were supposed to have paws would actually have hands. And in one moment they would be a person, and the next moment they would be a cat.
Oh my God.
I love this world. That is the greatest thing ever.
That is a whole new level of editing there.
I now want to know everyone's pick for films which need to be patched. That's what I want to know. It unfortunately gives certain people who don't like Star Wars some ammo, but just the idea that you can patch a film is
Oh, wait a second now. Lucas patched the original trilogy himself.
that's true, but didn't do it on the fly.
No. If he'd had the technology, he might have, but
Yeah, I just it is a wild world. So your ship will disembark a little hastily. You do get your maintenance cleared, but the ship is not completely scrubbed, and you're lucky that you did this in a crappy part of the station, because otherwise you suspect you'd be getting chased down, and there would definitely be fines that would be applied as you head off.
Right. Well, we explained that this was an accidental discharge, and that our captain Pega Cardin was one of those injured. They will be responsible for all damages. We're leaving them on the station for medical treatment.
You will we'll send that note through. So the question is, do you wish to head after Pega Cardin? Do you wish to head to Amido?
I mean, I think so. I also want to use this code that I just got and get the information about my brother.
And you will open that up, and does that finish off the ticks on your project then?
It does.
Okay. So you will pull up, and you will see that there is information on what is termed stress testing. And apparently it's people who are skilled or have a natural gift for handling the tolerance of portal jumping. And they are conducting trials on how to better acclimate people to that. And it definitely looks like this is happening on Amido.
What a coincidence.
It is dramatic liberties, yes.
Yes.
But what you will find is you'll actually get a little more detail that Amido is a planet in a system with a binary star. There is one major, very habitable planet that actually has a large amount of what they call non-standard sentience, essentially alien races that are on a fairly lush planet that's in the system that has some colonists on it, but given the size and the density of that population, they haven't really done anything. That's kind of a standoff. The planet that the Foundation is on is a place called Atticon. And Atticon is slightly closer to the binary star system. It's a planet that has a set of canyons that crisscross it, almost like the canals on Mars. And the atmosphere within those canyons is habitable. But the actual sort of surface above that is kind of a scouring, hot mess. So they have mining facilities that operate in those canyons, but they also have a Foundation science facility that is in there, exploring that and exploring some of the strangeness of the planet. Because in the Amito system, there is a thing called the Eye of Amito. It is a gravitational anomaly that some people believe it might have been built by the portal builders. It's essentially a non-visible singularity point. It's a little too close to the sun for people to really explore. So it hasn't been looked at too closely, but the Foundation facility there seems to be scanning that and scanning a broken monolith that exists in one of those canyons. And it's a pretty big, it's a university-sized facility kind of thing. Does that seem like a fair answer?
Yes, that seems like quite a bit of information.
Then let's do the sort of the chance for the group to catch their breath after the events on the station. Momoton, what do we see of that as people are getting, you have a few hours before you have to do the jump?
I think Muatan is, first of all, she's going to be very thankful Kalaba saved her can back there. Apologizes. I was hesitant to call upon your aid because you had people outside, but of course I should have trusted that you would have taken care of it.
Oh, you got to help me. I set up a bunch of traps. We got to get them disarmed before anyone trips them. Come on.
Oh, right. And then she takes basically like a hot glue gun and kind of hot glues together one of the cuts that she got from the slice there.
Oh, and she sort of stops and goes, I think we have facilities for that here, or at least some packs.
Yeah, I'll fix it in a little bit. That's
okay. Fine. So anyway, I used all the silverware in the hallway, and she just puts her scanner up, and she's put together all of these like crazy shrapnel traps and deadfalls and things like that with the panels that'll drop out from under.
Yeah, the smuggler's panels are covered with a thin carpet kind of thing.
Yeah, it's all good stuff. I get there just in time.
You're not entirely sure it is good stuff.
Question me.
Kyrie, what about you?
I was sort of interested in touching back in on, we had the sort of conversation between Kala and Kyrie last time about the djinn. I was sort of curious what Kala might try to do because she was like, oh, we can take care of this, but what would she do to investigate or try and like do something about the djinn and its influence?
And I think if you speak with her, she's like, well, the thing about the djinn is that clearly for what's happened to them, it means that they hid themselves in that canister, that cylinder, and then they were cut. They move from vessel to vessel, and they have their consciousness with them when they are in these places that are not their homeland. She goes, and right now you're one of the vessels, right?
Okay, that's upsetting, but sure.
No, but it means that you have a sympathy that attracts them. Also means, and she goes, what part of the jinn do you have?
I don't know if I have a part. I just hear it.
Okay, so you have the voice of the jinn?
Sure.
Okay, so you have the voice of the jinn. And we also have the voice of the jinn here. So it's an echo of it, right? And she goes, it wants to be whole.
Do we want it to be whole, though? That sounds like potentially bad.
She stops and she goes, I don't know. But I know that what the rage of the jinn is doing, what Pbta-based is doing, will prevent it from ever being whole.
Okay, so if I have this voice that unhelpfully only comes up when things are going very bad, is there some way maybe with the pieces that we have to like amplify the voice, talk to it on purpose?
Yeah. And she goes, I'm guessing that we can give it all types of power. It's just I'm a little worried for your safety. We would have to bargain with it. And she sort of stops and she goes, that's super scary. But at least we can say we have a path to you being full again. Rage has forgotten you. That is what rage does. Rage destroys.
Anything just to know something about it. I can't explain what it's like to have this presence, this voice that just seems to come and go when it wants to. I mean, I've always heard whispers, things from the dark, but I don't know. It's always just been manifestations of my own worst impulses, the things that entered inside me, but given voice. This is something else. This is something sentient and other, and it's stuck somewhere in my brain, and I can't even talk to it when I want to.
But it can talk to you when it wants to.
So how do we make it want?
She goes, well, I guess we can get the discs out.
If it'll bring it to the fore, if we can at least learn something about it. I don't know whether we should be finding these things to assemble them or to burn them so no one else can find them.
And she goes, your tormentor is a version of the judge. And she will kind of go, you remember the discs? They were once just one cylinder, and then they were cut, and they were cut so perfectly that they're frictionless. That is not the demands of anything other than the judge. And she sort of stops and says, your tormentor is the jinn's tormentor. I don't know what that means exactly, because it's not really the judge. It's an aspect of the judge. if we're gonna talk, if we're gonna bring the disc together to talk to him, we should do it in the chapel.
Agreed.
Okay.
Let me cut from that. Captain Nikos, as you are getting there, do you want to talk to the others or preparations you want to do? What do you want?
Yeah, well, I think we want to head into the system anonymously, like we did before. So we need to get Kala to rebuild that system that she said would only work once. And if we could come up with some cover story for why we're going into the system, that would be good. If someone, I assume that it's more than one jump, so we need to stop somewhere on the way. Yeah, so pick up some contract or something, so that we have an excuse for being in the system.
And the stealth systems on our ship actually have a move for silent running.
Yeah, it seems like that could probably be worked to do that.
Right. That's probably, it might be better to just go into the system under stealth and not even have a cover. But and we need to figure out how we're going to approach Pbta. So does anybody have any ideas how we're going to get the last disc and toward her doomsday machine?
Well, and it may be more than just getting the last disc. If she's got some piece of the djinn lodged inside of her, like, it's not like I have a piece of the disc on me, so physical proximity is not necessarily going to disconnect her.
Yeah, but
I think one of the things that is clear too is that she was collecting the signal of the discs, making copies similar to what Chubbs Manau did. And she thinks that this is going to open, well, it probably will open up, rip the dark open, as we saw it did when he had one fake one.
I mean, I kind of hate to even consider the possibility, but would it make sense if we reassembled the discs? Could we release the djinn? Would that break Pbta's power?
Yes, because her power is the rage of the djinn.
Well, but then what are we releasing onto
The
this
djinn.
world or this space? It's trying to get through from somewhere else.
There's two things. There's the darkness that she wants to unleash, and then there's the djinn. It is not the darkness. It is a separate thing. It is a being of immense power, but it is not a being that exists to make sense in our world. We do not comprehend it. The icons reach out to us and attempt to help us make sense of this world. This is not the duty of the djinn.
Right. And it sounds like Pbta doesn't care very much about the actual discs. And she's been fine with letting us gather the discs as long as she's able to get the data off of them. So she may not even be guarding her own disc carefully. But we'll need that last disc in order to free the djinn.
Okay. That may be the end times, or it may be the release of the darkness. And she sort of stops and says, I think I'd rather place a bet on the djinn. So yeah, let's do it.
Well, look, if we're betting on this creature, we should at least know something more. Do you think you could amplify the frequency of these pieces, try and open up some pathway to the djinn? I might be able to connect with it. find out whether we should be trusting it or not.
And just to be certain, you're not contacting the Jinn. You're contacting a broken, fragmented version of the Jinn. Just want that absolutely clear.
Exactly. And one broken, fragmented part of the Jinn wants to rip the dark open. So.
Well, yeah, but once we put it back together and then start asking it questions, well, it may be a little too late then.
Okay.
One problem at a time. First we stop Pegacardin, and then we stop a malevolent, omnipotent, all-powerful Jinn.
Okay.
How hard can that be?
Right, just items on a checklist.
Exactly. Do this systematically.
And she goes,
I mean, God,
I have lots of theoretical knowledge, but I don't have any skill in bargaining.
well, as far as I can tell, I mean, each fragment of the Jinn, it's dangerous because it's just one part of the Jinn's personality with no checks, no restraints. Like there's the rage, there's the curiosity, there's whatever each piece is. An integrated personality will naturally be more reasonable and hopefully grateful. I mean, I've heard stories about people who have released Jinns and they get like 3 wishes. I mean, that's children's tales, but there must be something to it.
I've heard other stories about people that release Jinn.
Here's the thing is, we need some way to stop Pegacardin from doing what she's doing.
Right.
Inherently, we know she doesn't have the 5th disc of Talisman now. So we have something she doesn't have. She has something we don't have, and that's the Rage of the Disc. It's a race for that. Whichever one of us can get that last piece, we get a Jinn or we get the darkness ripped over.
Right. And
Well, excuse me, we get a gate.
Right.
And then from there we can choose to put the Jinn together.
Right.
Just opening the gate doesn't put the Jinn back together.
Kala, I know your detector for the disc. It's short range, but now that we have 4 of them, is there anything you can do to boost the sensitivity? I mean, if we can pinpoint the disc on the planet before we go down.
Sure, I can do that.
Let's do the hyperdrive move, and then let's bring you in system so we can have this conversation a little closer to your final destination.
All right.
So someone needs to roll with weird. Rich had to roll last time. So anyone but Rich.
I think it's been a while since I rolled, so I'll do that.
Okay.
A 4.
All right. So I think that 2 things are going to happen. One is that you will come out of the jump, and as you're kind of hitting out of the jump, your AI will say, brace for impact. And you guys will feel the ship rock as you take a hit, and you will see coming through the portal essentially having followed you in on stealth, you'll see a Lascarid attack vessel essentially drop cloak and prep another missile to launch at you. And so you've got 2 damage on your ship, the superficial that you hadn't yet repaired, and the direct hit mark. So we are in a ship combat situation. Luckily, you did your maintenance. You're not at a disadvantage to this. So there we go. So there are a couple of different roles we can do with this. Obviously, we have an engineering section that Sherry can manage. We have piloting that Nikos can manage. We can have funky tricks that Kyrie manages, and we can have guns that Mumaton manages. Now let's look at the ship, what you have. You've still got your shielding, so you've got that to eat a hit later on. You have lasers. You have your sensor array, and you also have your tether that you have there. And you have the ship's intelligence if you need to run things remotely. So, Captain, what order do you want to do things in? Essentially, you pushed out of the gate, you take that hit, kind of spinning to right yourself, and this Lascarid attack vessel is hot on your heels.
I'll do some evasive maneuvers while Kyrie comes up with some clever trick.
Absolutely. So you're essentially going to try and get yourself some distance away from this. So let's have you go ahead and this is a ship thing, but you're rolling act quick to do this, and then I'm going to have you describe the maneuver to me. So roll with slick, Captain.
12.
12. So tell me what you do to increase the distance between you and this attack vessel.
Yeah. Right. We take the hit, but we've come out of jump. There's a comet nearby, and I'll discharge the lasers and just blow it up so that there's this cloud of expanding gas between us and them. It fuses their sensors just long enough to break the target lock they've got on us.
Yeah, essentially there is some matter around here from probably from broken up ships and things like that. They hang around the gravity well of this. You grab that and you will head on in. And Kyrie, let us come to you. How do you want to assist with this process?
Well, we've got the sensor array here on the ship, so why don't we try and scan them and find out something about their ship?
Okay, let us have you. You can roll that with advantage.
Except we're disadvantaged on everything, so that just evens out.
No, because are you from the direct hit?
Direct hit, any roll using a ship system is at disadvantage.
Yes. So evens out. Yep.
Okay. So it's just dependent on my terrible calculating.
Also, don't forget, you can always do spot repairs to fix the ship. There is a maneuver for that.
Oh god, that's a big move. There are immediate dangers, and this says to keep your cool.
Yep.
But on a direct hit, you restore operations negate disadvantage. Interesting. Stalwart. Yeah, we'll leave Kala to deal with the intricacies of the scanner system,
Sure.
and I'll go hit things with a plasma hammer to fix them.
So tell me, What do you suppose this smart repairs looks like? Is interior damage? You have to go outside. What do you imagine this is?
Ooh, I like going outside. I never really use my thermostatic suit.
Yeah.
Just not a full vacuum suit, but will protect me for hopefully just like the minute I need to run out and hit a breaker.
Plus, here's the thing: is I think that given your experience dropping down into the atmosphere of a crazy gas giant, I think that you have no fear right now. You've already done that. So even jumping out into the sort of the comet gas as you do that, let's have you roll. Go ahead and roll. Keep your cool.
Nice. So yeah, I think in that like 30 seconds in the airlock as the pressure is changing and things are counting down, like he's going over the fresh new tattoo of that prayer from the jump, and we see like flashbacks to the previous episode when he was getting ready to do that like descent into madness.
Are you taking advantage from a prayer?
That is a very good idea. Wait, there's special moves, right?
It is
Yes.
special moves, bottom of that first column.
So yes, I will start by rolling with nothing to pray, which is an 8.
So you get to spend that to pray to the deckhand. And
Nice to keep it cool. That's very appropriate. Does this count as interacting? Is this activating a ship system? Like, does the disadvantage from the damage interact with this?
no, I think you'll have advantage.
Cool. You and do that. And oh god, get rid of that too. But those guys make a beautiful 12.
12. So we see you open that up, drop down. The thing is the atmospheric hit against your suit. You see that flash as the thermostatic suit is trying to do that. You get that plasma sprayer. You're spraying that down. Even as you see another shot come past, another laser shot come near from the Lascarid ship, get that patched, and then you probably use your TK to pull yourself back inside and slam
Nice.
that shut.
Nice.
Captain, who goes next? Your engineer or your gunner?
Let's have the gunner go.
Okay, so Rich, you have a laser on the ship, versatile, low cost, and they are super reliable. So this is going to be a firefight move.
That sounds right up my alley. I will lock in and try to target weaker systems.
And at first, the targeting system isn't working. It's shaking, and then it'll boot up as Kyrie gets that locked into place and takes the disadvantage off for you.
Thanks, Kyrie.
No problem. I got it. Just shoot them back.
Work on your cardio. I failed. No, actually, no, wait. 5 + 2, 7. 7. Okay.
7.
Squeak.
And don't forget, you can always pray to before you do these things.
That's true.
And it's if you want to roll back.
I'll just keep in mind for future. Plus,
okay.
Yeah, this is good.
So exchange harm and choose one.
Oh, yeah. I think I want us to suffer -1 harm.
Absolutely. So you will hit them with the lasers, and you will see their shielding essentially discharge, and you will evade the shots as they come back. So you don't suffer any harm, but you have popped their shields. and they are sort of still got that same distance right now. Now they're a little more vulnerable to your shots. That brings us to you, Kala. Take a drink.
I'm going to be making a move based on my specialties. This one is ships and engineering technology devices. Plus I actually worked on Lascaran ships, so I think I have the expertise required. So when I do this, I do want to share my expertise with a crew member so that they have advantage going forward when they work on this thing. I'm going to do the sensor array
Okay.
to give us all of those advantages. So that's a move, right? Isn't it?
Scope it out.
Scope it out. So that's a 7 because that was a terrible roll, but I have +3.
So you get to ask one.
Did you
Okay.
roll with advantage?
No, was I supposed to?
Yeah, our special sensor system gives you advantage on
All right,
scope it
then.
out.
So that gives me 6 + 3, which is a 9. So,
Ah,
all right.
So what is your question?
So my question is, I specifically want to go where there are blind spots. I want to establish where the blind spots are so that we can use those for that advantage. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think that your technical skill will give advantage to one person,
Okay.
and then I think you kind of spot the blind spots. You know that it's a small ship. It's got a rotating sensor array. So there are some points in time where you can sync up and have an advantage, and so you will be able to give advantage to another crew member.
Okay, that sounds good.
So you've got essentially 2 free-floating advantage to throw out there. Captain, they are kicking it to try and get close to you. What is the next way you're going to try and get in a better position here?
Well, I just got this data about their blind spots, so I'm going to do some fancy piloting to keep in their blind spots.
Let's have you roll with slick.
Seven.
7. So choose one.
Let's see, which move was the
This is
Did you
act
take
quick.
Yeah,
Did you take advantage, Nikos?
I didn't.
You have it.
Okay, so we've got one advantage hanging around then.
I mean, I'll just suffer one stress. on that.
Okay. So yeah, it takes a bit for you to do. You've got to push the ship, drop through, kind of try and coordinate with this, get into those blind spots. Who goes next, Nikos?
Mumatin.
Mumatin drops you into those blind spots. Get your lasers up there. You've got advantage on this roll.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll dial it in and see if we can blast these things out of the sky. Here we go. Oof, glad that was with things. So it's volatile. That is an 11.
That is an 11. Exchange harm and choose 3.
Okay. I will do we have a discharge weapon tag on this weapon or no?
I believe the laser
We
can be
do.
discharged. Yeah.
Discharge. And also playing a KG and I think maybe we should also take a moment to recover in case we need to recover any stuff that's going on.
Okay, yeah. So if somebody wants to do the recover to reset the lasers, they can do that. And essentially, you kind of fall back into that blind spot. They are trying to fire through, and you evade their blasts, and you light up the underside of this thing with a line of laser fire as you go past. What do the lasers on this thing look like? Rich?
I was taking a look at the picture, and it looks like they're forward lasers rather than like a turret. So I think maybe she's got that VR display that had to get rebooted by Kyrie, and the forward firing arc is where it's most powerful. Everything outside of that, she can only fire one laser or the other.
And is it like is it a continuous beam? Is it a set of pulses?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. I think I kind of like the idea of it charging up, and there are these like green bolts that come out, but the bolts aren't like perfectly formed. They're almost like this odd energy bolt that leaks and bleeds energy as it flies through space.
Hits, rushes across the bottom of this thing. We see systems short on the underside of this thing. Who is next, Nikos?
Let's have Kala go up next.
Colin, what do you want to do?
Oh,
You hear the sound of the lasers whirring down.
yeah. I mean, it makes sense to just recover those, so I will do that.
Go ahead and make a recover roll. You have advantage because of your SIP systems. You're
I got
muted.
an 11, so I don't know what I add to it, but I don't think it matters.
It would be with stalwart. So yeah, you can ready your
13.
ships systems. Kyrie, lasers come back online. Got sort of hanging in the blind spots. What are you doing?
If we're in their blind spot, could we just disappear?
Oh,
With
you
the
want to
stealth
try
system?
and hit the silent running?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have you roll with slick.
Whoopsie. Things have been going so well recently. Why don't I have any inner darkness? It's a 9.
It is a 9.
Which is 1 hold to escape notice or enemy scans. I don't know if that's going to hold though.
You can do it. You just have to mark damage on the ship, but you'll be able to get away. Now, mind you, you could blow the shielding to evade that damage.
Why take damage?
Because it says when you run out of hold, take damage or act overtly.
I think that's a list of 3 things that cause your cloak to dissipate.
Right. So you have 1 hold, and if you want to escape notice, you would spend that, and then you'd be out of hold.
So our cloak would dissipate.
When you they have that. So what they have a weird thing. So you can spend the hold to get essentially to get out of their notice and escape away. But when you run out of hold, take damage or act overtly, your cloak dissipates. You're right. Actually, I'm sorry. You're exactly right. I am not listening to what you're saying at all.
I knew you'd get there
because I'm in the mind. Yeah, come on, Lowell. Just a little bit more reading comprehension.
But if our cloak dissipates as soon as we spend the hold, will that actually get us away from them?
Oh, absolutely, because the effect is escape notice or enemy scans.
Okay.
So they'll still be around. They'll still be, hunting, but your cloak you'll hit that up as you're in the blind spot. Part of it is that the fire that Mumaton laid into there overloaded their sensor arrays. You drop the cloak in, and then whoop, and you gun it through here, and you are gone before they can follow up.
Nice. Okay, so the cloak dissipating would mean like if there are anyone else, or the next scan that comes in at us won't be protected by that. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
like
Gotcha.
if it had multiple ships following you.
Then yeah, I'm down in the hold. I run for the stealth system as I'm yelling for the AI to turn us at some sort of like wildly unexpected angle and hit it.
Oh, you want me in your head now? Is that what you want?
No, I don't want you anywhere near my head. I'm using the
Oh,
communication.
okay.
We
Well,
are
I'll
in the
just
ship.
shut down
Technically, I think
then.
I'm.
Yeah,
No,
you can
no,
handle
not
it
shut down.
yourself.
It's turn and go. Turn and go.
Okay. And you'll do that. It'll hit your thrown. It like it very clearly calculates the thing, so it throws you against a wall as you hit that stealth. What do you think the stealth? How does that look on this ship? Well, what's the special effect on screen?
I think because Nikos is pretty clever, so I think he would have set up something neat in that, like, whatever the sort of special effect for ships jumping to hyperspeed, like going to warp, there's a similar sort of visual that runs over the ship as it disappears. So if they're not scanning closely, it almost looks like we just like ran from the system.
Like a cascading set of after images that
Nice.
blossom out in different directions from this, even though you're nowhere close to the portal point right now, but they're going to be trying to compensate and figure out what's going on. And we will see you sailing in. It takes a couple of hours for you to make your way to Amido, which means that in that time you can stop and do the spot repairs, which I don't believe requires a roll when you're out of danger.
So I don't think we can actually fix the damage without like going back to a station. The spot repair, as far as I can tell, just negates the problem from the
Restore normal operation.
because there's like on the ship's hit points, there's like that left hand column that's the spot repair
Oh, okay.
points.
I see how it does that then. Yeah, so you guys are going to need some kind of docking or port or ship thing to be able to get yourselves back into ship shape, as it were.
So we go to the other planet, the one planet that has the other non-standard sentient species on it.
Yeah. So so you will head to Amido. This is a wild binary system. On your scanners, you will see in the system scan that there is an area closer to the sun that your sensors just don't function. Like it's not giving you. It's a weird set of contradictory signals that is clearly the Amido, this hyperspace object that is out there. You will head to the planet Amido. This is a lush green planet, and you will essentially head for a colony spaceport there. Nikos, what do I want to know about how you're getting in?
Right. Well, I think we're flying under false papers this time. It's not super secure, but unless somebody looks closely, it'll pass.
Then I think your disposition is a 0 here.
Yeah.
So let's have you roll. The crew is back in town.
That's a 9.
That is a 9. So I think that you will land on planet. You'll be able to get contact down to the spaceport there, and land and disembark. The patch damage shows. Imagine that these are prefab colonies that are built up, that kind of cleared the land around it. It's almost like a kind of a scar in the middle of the lush forests that are around. But you'll land, and you can disembark, and you will talk to some people on the ground, and they're like, "Oh, we can, we're real short on supplies. We don't have a lot. The colony resupply isn't for, another 16 days from the main hub, and so it is going to take a bit of time before they can do the repairs on your ship here."
Okay. And yeah, and that's fine. That's fine, because I think we need a bit of time to plan our approach. So I think we want to start gathering some information about the local situation and how to figure out how to get to Pbta.
So this is a modest-sized colony. It's a mixture of exploitation and exploration. There's some scientists here. The colony's name is Jahan, and it's probably maybe about 1,500 people here. So most people kind of know generally who others are. There are probably a couple of free spacers here, also doing some trade. Essentially the kinds of people that come, land, use local agents to trade for goods created by the semi-sentients here, and that kind of thing. So it's a little bit Avatar-y, but maybe not quite as nasty. So land kind of mix in. Mumaton people, you're an armored figure. People kind of give you a wide berth there.
Do you like that?
So let's start with you, Captain Nikos. Got people working on your ship, getting that set. They're crawling on it. They've negotiated with you about the cost and the time. What is it that you want to do here? Do you want to do a group meeting and then split up, or how do you want to handle this?
Sure. Let's do a group meeting where we each plan our approach, and then like I'll try to hit my local contacts if I have any.
Okay.
And,
So yeah, there's a cantina there, of course. There's some music there. Modest, some of the local colonists and a few off-worlders who are there, and you can discuss how the four of you wish to proceed. Let's start with Kala.
How many discs do we have?
You have 4 out of 5.
So there's a disc for each of us.
That's true.
So I think I go to Kyrie and I pretty much go, There's one thing that we can do. We can each take one of the discs on ourselves.
To hide them?
No,
Oh.
to give them. It's not great, but at least we're a crew. We're a kind of togetherness that they would have that Pega doesn't have.
No. This is something way beyond. You're not ready for this sort of thing.
Maybe not. And she sort of stops and goes, we have to consider it.
Kala, this is not something you want to do to yourself. There are doors that once they're open, they can't be closed.
And she stops and she goes, that's exactly the problem. Once Pega opens that door, it can't be closed. And it's for everyone.
You don't understand what it could do to you, what it could do to all of us.
You're absolutely correct. But I know what Pega is going to do. And I know what that could do. I don't want to do that. I am saying that we must consider it.
But Mumaton, Nikos, what is your reaction to this prospect that Kala has put forward?
And I'm kind of intrigued. At the same time that I recognize that it's a bad idea, but we need some kind of an edge.
Is there a last resort idea?
Mumaton?
Yeah.
Just give me whichever piece is the hardest to control. I've got it.
This is a terrible choice, but there are no good choices here.
It's not the only one, though. We could still talk to the pieces of the gin. We could try to negotiate. We don't know what's going on. And it's not going to be long before Pega finds us.
Right. Well, if we've got the pieces of the gin inside us, that will make it easier to talk to them, right?
Oh, I think they're very chatty, but
You'd be surprised.
really? Well, yeah, the voice. I don't know. It would be better if we had a ship so we could get there. So that what we have is agency. We have to have a strong sense of what it is that we want. And that the end goal is to find a way to bring them back together as one whole. And that our price, our ask, is only that's what I can't do. I'm so bad at bargaining.
Right.
I don't know how to put it.
Well, I mean, we want them to open the gate and to take down Pega and rescue my brother and hopefully get paid and then not destroy humanity.
Well, look, if we want a complicated deal, if we want more information about it, and you're afraid of just talking to fragmentary pieces of the gin, maybe you're right. Maybe bringing it forward, I mean, we don't have all of it, but this is most of it, and this is the most that we're going to get in a calm situation where we can think about what we're choosing. So maybe we could try and conjure it up between the four of us. At the very least, having the captain's voice in a negotiation is going to be more effective than mine.
Okay. So here's what I know about bargaining with the djinn. And I will tell you the stories that I've compiled so that should we get to this point, whoever does it has advantage when they do it.
Well, I have the Embrace Eternity move to reach out and mingle mind and ask questions back and forth.
Okay. Do we want to do this now or do we want to wait until just before as a crazy action scene?
I think prayer and meditation probably makes sense here. Like, we have a controlled environment with our chapel on the ship.
Okay.
So
Is
what does
everyone
this look
okay
like?
with this? I think it starts with Kyla bringing in her container that she's made to hold them all. And it's a big unwieldy thing. Like, it certainly contains them, but it really wasn't made for carrying, except maybe that she welded a handle onto it. It is about, it's tall, it's bulky, and every part of it is stiff and heavy. And it has coily wires coming off of it because, of course, it does, and gauges. And then when she opens it up, there's like a pressure release, and it makes a really cool hissing sound. It opens up.
And Momota, the others have seen these discs before, but you've been kind of told about them. And they are a gold disc about this big. They are, maybe about a centimeter thick. And when they hand one of these to you, they're completely frictionless. So immediately kind of goes out of your hand. And they've got some things to hold them, but they kind of do that to demonstrate what these are like. You actually probably have to brace your foot against it and then kind of lift it up a little bit and then get it with this in this sack and pick it up. And they're heavy. Like, they're much heavier than they ought to be. Even if they were made of gold, they wouldn't be this heavy.
This is quite odd. This is some kind of extra science, some kind of laser disc.
It's progenitor stuff. I think.
Obviously. I don't even know if we have a player to make this work.
Look, just try not to listen to it too hard.
Okay.
And you hand those discs out. Everyone has a disc. And Kyrie, you're going to try to embrace eternity?
Yeah, I wouldn't say no to some aid if we've got all of us together.
Yeah. What is embrace eternity kind of thing?
So someone has to roll lean on me,
Okay.
the stalwart, to assist. And then we'll have Kyrie roll embrace eternity.
Okay, I'll do that because I'm the one who suggested it. So, of course, I'll pray to the traveler first. See if I can get some help there.
Okay. So let's fractal this up.
Okay.
Let's do one move.
So pray is what kind of?
You would roll with advantage, just flat with advantage.
Okay. Okay, so that gives me an 8.
Okay, so yeah, you can get advantage on your roll.
Lean on me.
Spend that right away.
And what
This
is
is your
lean on-
this is your once per session for that.
Okay, and what is my lean on me?
Oh, actually, I take that back. You already prayed this session,
I did?
didn't you? Pray?
No.
it was Kyrie.
I
that
prayed,
time.
yeah.
I apologize.
So,
It's stalwart, so it's a +2.
all
Yeah.
right. So that gives me 12
12.
to assist you.
Kyrie, go ahead, roll a brace eternity.
Advantage. Them guys. Ooh. 8, 9, 10 though.
Okay.
That
So
means I get 2 questions and it gets 1.
so I will tell you, you will feel, Nikos, that sort of once Kyrie kind of opens up and clearly channels this, that the disc opens, and you'll realize that these things, Kyrie feels it because Kyrie opened himself to these things. But otherwise, these things work over time. They slowly infiltrate your consciousness. But now Kyrie opens it up, and you will feel that kind of flood into you, and you will feel that raging passion and impulsiveness from the disc that you have, Nikos. And Kala, you will feel the absolute knowledge that this thing holds, the sense of beyond, the information that it has, the perception that it has. And Mumaton, yours just waits. It is the Jin's patience. It has all of eternity. And you feel that all of that time that you can just sit and wait for the perfect moment, for the perfect shot.
You guys gave me patience. This is the worst.
I got a rock.
Fine.
What are your questions?
Hmm.
And because you've opened this up, I think everybody hears the answers to all of these questions.
Makes sense. I'm gonna start with, what do you seek?
To be whole again. To be just you, that is what drives this thing. Patience can wait. Passion wants to be back together again. The voice is telling you all this, and intellect knows that this has to come eventually, before the heat death of the universe. What's your second question?
I've seen from connecting with it before what it's willing to sacrifice, which is that it will either be whole or nothing. It's trying to get past this in-between state. But I'll take input from the group. So my remaining questions are, who or what do you wish to protect? Who or what do you love? Or what do you have faith in?
You already know what it loves. You know it loves itself.
Hmm.
That was sort of a fallout from the last question that you had of these things.
Who or what does it wish to protect?
Or what
than
does it have
itself?
faith in?
Yeah. What does it have faith in is a good one too.
Yeah, I think faith in is where I go, because protect, if it loves itself, it probably wants to protect itself.
We're here in our chapel. That makes sense. Like looking through the face of the judge. What does this thing have faith in?
And that is the thing that kind of shakes it to the core when you ask that question. Because that's why it's split. because it rebuked, it denied the power of the icons. And the judge did this to it to prove the power of the icons to it. And so it doesn't want to, but it worships the icons.
Me too.
Kyrie, who do you love?
I think there's this like devotion to Kala that she's come in and given a like order and voice to not only like how to move forward, but maybe how he could fix something, like change and be better. And I think there's just this like overwhelming belief in her right now.
I like that. And I think that's where we're leaving off. Next time, we're going to take you to Otacon, to the Foundation headquarters, to the place where your brother was taken, Nikos, to the place where this disc is, to the place where Pega-Cardin is even now working to shatter the gates and release the darkness into the third horizon. And that is where we're going to take up. Let's do XP. So I don't think you completed a mission or contract. I think you definitely learned new things about the universe given that end scene. Does that seem fair? So give you an XP for that. Did you thwart an existing enemy? Yes, because the Lescarids were planning on blowing you up.
Jerks.
They are super rude.
Sherry, did one or more of your hooks create problems?
Nah.
Okay. Nikos, did one or more of your hooks cause problems?
Well, yes, with the target of the Scarred family. And I kind of feel like Sherry should.
Yeah, given the Lescarid tie-in, yeah.
Okay.
Rich,
I mean, I
you have
don't.
the Lescarids as one of your enemy things? I can't remember.
I started off that way and I flipped. So terrible with Burr and burning through, buying things, entertaining
Oh yeah,
myself, giving to
absolutely.
charity.
Because I got to put you in a sauna and
Yeah.
attack you there.
Cool. I wasn't sure. I thought
Oh,
maybe,
yeah.
but I wanted to make sure.
That caused you a problem.
An awesome problem.
Yeah, you played into it. So, Kyrie, what about you?
I think weirdly for once my hooks only really helped. Which is strange.
You've
I
gotten a
feel
lot of
dirty.
XP for that. So that's where we're gonna stop. I'm going to stop the recording here. We will do all the stars and thorns and wishes and stuff at the end of next session, which will be the last session of this, and then we'll be post holidays. So let me end the broadcast.